didn't communicate with her?
Never.
What she was supposed to do?
Never. We never talked about price. I never received a billing.
We're not going to be able to come to a resolution in this case unless we cut out the baloney.
This is Judge Judy. Renee Roberts is suing event planner Maricela Reyes for the cost of props she created for a fundraiser.
Judge, this is case number 87 on the calendar in the matter of Roberts versus Reyes.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge.
Ms. Roberts, it is your claim that the defendant owes you for some work that you did for a charitable fundraiser that she was involved with.
Yes.
Tell me what the charity was and when the event was.
It's called the Cops and Robbers Ball, and it was May 4th, 2019, and it raises money. It's put on by the Community Law Enforcement Foundation in our town.
How did you find the defendant, or how did she find you?
Well, we have a mutual friend. It's somebody that I do a lot of business with. We're a networking group, and she...
What's that person's name?
Her name is Terry, and she's also on the committee for this Cops and Robbers Ball. So after one of her committee meetings, she sent me a text and did an introduction between...
You mean Terry did?
Terry did, yes.
Do you... Miss Reyes?
Yes.
Do you know Terry? Is she on the committee with you?
Yes, she's in the committee.
That's a yes or a no. Is she on the committee with you?
Yes.
Fundraising committee. She was in 2019.
Correct.
And you recall events surrounding planning the Cops and Robbers Ball that night?
Yes.
For whatever night it was going to be, May 4th.
Correct.
Right? Okay. Now I'd like to see the text.
So there's a couple before and after.
Shh. Just a second. Okay, so let us assume for the moment, Ms. Roberts, you had a conversation with Terry via text message. Now, what work were you going to do for the Cops and Robbers Ball?
Well, for the Cops and Robbers Ball, I do their tickets, posters, invitations, stuff like that. And I do a lot of other work with Terry as well in her business and my business. So she was, referring that not just for the Cops and Robbers.
No, just a second.
Okay.
Now we're finished with Terry. I don't want to hear anything that you had to do with Terry.
Okay.
Because now we're on the defendant.
Okay.
You were supposed to do what for this event on May 4th? What do you allege that you have a contract with the defendant?
There were some props that she wanted to be part of the overall design of the
So it was props?
Yes.
Your complaint says cutouts
Yes.
of cops and robbers.
Yeah.
Life-size cutouts.
Yes.
Okay, is that what the props that you're talking about?
Yes.
Now, when for the first time did you speak to the defendant about these props?
I don't know the exact date.
What date?
It's somewhere...
Well, let's get to the exact...
Well...
Unless you have a written contract, I'm going to need a date because what you're talking about is a contract to perform work.
Right. So it looks like it was in early February. We spoke on the phone. We tried to meet up back and forth, like we missed phone calls. We tried to meet up.
Tried, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Not interested in coulda, woulda, shoulda. You think you had a phone call with her in February of 2020?
Yes.
Do you have that on your phone?
I don't have that phone call on my phone.
Well, why not? You have the text message from Terry that preceded that phone call.
Right.
So why wouldn't you have the phone call in February of 2020? Unless we could skip over that. Did you have a phone conversation with the plaintiff in February of 2020?
Never.
My question is, did you ever speak to her in February or in any other month after February?
Give me a sample of it. I don't remember the date.
No, just a second. A sample of what?
Of the cutout that she was doing.
So if she was going to do a cutout as a prop for this event on May 4th,
sample, yes,
there had to be a preceding conversation of someone telling her what the committee wanted. Are you telling me that that wasn't you? You didn't communicate with her what she was supposed to do?
Never.
So the conversation that you had with her, what you're telling me is the only conversation that you had with her up until this point is for her to tell you or you to tell her, bring me a sample of what you're doing.
Correct.
And can you tell me approximately what month that was?
It probably was, and I don't have an exact date. It was probably like late April.
April.
Mm-hmm.
And was that the first time you met her?
I've never met her. Most of the communication was with Terry. And
You mean your communication?
was with Terry, yes.
How many times did you speak to the plaintiff?
Never.
Well, you said you did have one conversation with her in April.
Because I had called to see if I could get a sample because we weren't even sure if I was going to be able to use the props. So I wanted them.
Phone number.
I'm sure probably Terry gave it to me. But when the conversation first took place, the fundraiser, everything that I was doing was running around $13,000-$14,000. And
listen to me.
Okay.
We're not there yet.
Okay.
Right now, I'm trying to see if there's a contract here between you
There isn't.
and the plaintiff.
No.
Well, you say there isn't. That's what I'm trying to establish, whether or not there existed a contract between you and the plaintiff.
Correct.
So that's really a burden that's on the plaintiff to demonstrate to me that there existed between the two of you a contract, which was an offer and acceptance and some consideration. The consideration here, according to you, is $882, and you have to tell me exactly when this contract was made, if it was orally. I assume you do not have a written contract.
Correct. It was an oral contract.
So now you have to tell me when that took place. Exactly. When and where it took place.
It was in a phone call, and it was in early March or the end of February.
Did you call her or did she call you?
I don't remember exactly, but I probably called her, and then she told me...
And that was after your text with Terry.
Yes.
So that you should have a log in your phone of that call.
Yeah, I went back to my phone log, and all I could find was the text messages that were after that. So I don't know why the phone log. I probably have in my phone bill, but I didn't bring the copy of the phone call, but just the emails and the texts that we sent back and forth.
Well, you sent Terry a text.
Yes, and there's a reason for that.
And you texted Terry back and forth. So now you're going to tell me what you allege this February phone call was between you and the defendant.
So she was giving me the kind of her concept and idea about these props that she wanted and how she was going to try to hang them from helium balloons and hang them from the ceiling. So we weren't sure exactly what materials and how it was going to look and if it was going to work. She was going to use magnets. So I told her that I would come up with some ideas about how it would work, make a sample for her. We talked about a price range of what usually something about that costs.
No, you're not being specific enough for me.
Okay.
You talked about a price range. What did you tell her?
I told her the price range of something that was similar that I've done before was between $58 and $102 each, depending on how we ended up doing it and the materials.
And 102. So one is half as much as the other.
Yes.
And keep going.
And yeah, she said that would be fine. So I said, let me see what's going to work.
What would be fine? 58 or 102?
To keep it within...
I mean, she's planning a charity event.
Right.
She has a certain budget.
Right.
I assume you had a certain budget. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Is that correct, Ms.
Correct.
Rose? So she's trying to keep it within the budget. You're making a contract with her.
Yes.
You don't make a contract between 58 and 102.
Well,
and she says, okay, then there's no contract.
Well, that was until I can figure out what would be the best way to do it. So once I knew what materials I was going to use and, you know, how I was going to produce it and
when
print
did that
it.
happen?
On March 14th, my husband dropped off the sample to her, and she got
hold on. Did her husband drop off a sample to you?
Yes.
March 14th?
I don't remember
at
the
your
date.
House?
I don't no, at the office, at our warehouse. But yes.
Her husband dropped off a sample at your warehouse March 14th.
If that's the day she says, correct, yes.
Right. She has it down, March 14th. Did you see the sample on that day?
Yes.
Did you communicate with her thereafter?
I must have, yes.
That's either a yes or a no. Did you communicate with her thereafter?
I think I communicated with...
Did you order 10 or 12 of these cutouts?
I ordered them through Terry.
I don't care if you ordered them through Godzilla. You ordered 10 of them after she sent you a sample.
Yes.
And did you make the 10 cutouts?
I made the 10
That's a yes or a no?
Yes.
After she made the 10 cutouts, did you want 2 more? That's a yes or a no?
Yes.
Did she make 2 more?
Yes.
All right. Now we're at a different place.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What is your business?
Party rental, event design.
Okay. You did this event for this charity for money. Just
No.
follow what I'm saying to you. Are you telling me that you donated your time and the materials?
Renee Roberts claims event planner Maricela Reyes never paid for props she created for a police fundraiser.
Now we're at a place where she doesn't have to even show me her phone because the work was performed and you accepted the labor
Correct.
of that work. So your answer when it says, I don't know her anything, I never even met her or not, if I order something through Amazon and they send me 6 bottles of Listerine and I don't pay for it because I said, I never met the people who make Listerine.
Okay, well...
you ordered it.
Okay.
You commissioned it to be done. So I am presuming for the purposes of this questioning that you did have a preliminary discussion with her about what your creative process was with regard to this event and how she could fit in with that process by creating these props.
Correct.
In addition to what else you were doing. So you did have a conversation. Pursuant to that conversation, she did make you a sample. You saw the sample. You ordered 10 of them. You realized you wanted 2 more. You ordered 2 more. So, Miss Reyes, they have to be paid for. Now it's up to you to tell me the price. To whom did you relay what price you ultimately came up with between 58 and 102?
The final price on the final invoice that I sent her a couple days before the event.
Was for how much? For each cutout?
There's 2 different versions, and so one was $70 each and one was $102 each. And so I did have to modify it when it was 12, and then I discounted it 20% because I knew she was also...
Easy, because I think that you have to get paid for what you did.
But what I was trying to explain, what I was trying to explain, when we sat in the meeting with the committee, they sat at my office, they were offering me very little money. The total bill was $12,000, $13,000, and I wanted to get more money. And they said, we cannot get more money. And I said, I still have to buy these props. I still have to buy these gobos. I still got to buy jewelry and all this other stuff. Terry then says, don't worry about the cutouts. I could get the cutouts for you.
You can't tell me what Terry said. Listen to me. Listen to me. You're in business. You're
Correct.
in business. Is
but
that
I
right?
never talked to her.
Just a second.
We never talked about price. I never received a billing from her, an invoice or anything. So I never got the invoice. If she said she had a conversation with me.
You did this event for this charity for money. Just follow what I'm saying to you. Are you telling me that you donated your time and the materials?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She made money. It is unreasonable for her to make money and for you to make nothing. So we're not going to be able to come to a resolution in this case unless we cut out the baloney.
Judge Judy. Renee Roberts is accusing event planner Maricela Reyes of failing to pay for props she created for a police fundraiser.
Now, are you telling me that you donated your time and the materials?
Absolutely. I donated out of $13,000, $9,000 of that was donations from me. So my whole objective is, how can I make this event look fabulous without spending as least amount of money? Because I still had labor. I still had to buy other product. I was already communicating.
Ms. Reyes, we're not going to be able to come to a resolution in this case unless we cut out the baloney. What is your business?
I am an event designer.
What is your business?
Party rental, event design.
Okay. No, just a second. You are an event designer. That is your business. What is the name of your company?
Pro Prep Events.
And when you did this event for
Cops and robbers.
Law enforcement,
right?
Is this the first year that you're doing it?
Nope, 3rd year.
How many other events does your company do for charity during the year?
Probably about three large.
How many? Very easy. You're a company. We can look up your records.
Right.
How many events does your company do for charity each year?
3.
3 large ones.
Maybe about 10.
And what are the 3 large ones?
I do it for another Indian organization for battered Indian women, and then I do the cops and robbers, and then I do one for Morgan Hill for the volunteers, just people that volunteer in our small town.
And you do them for high school?
High school all the time.
Do you ever do events for private people?
Absolutely. That's mostly what I do.
What kind of an events do you do for private people?
Weddings, any celebration, any milestone celebration.
So this is your business.
This is my business.
You are an event...
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm an event designer.
This is your business. You are an event planner.
Correct.
This is your business.
Correct.
They give you a budget to plan the event.
Absolutely.
That's what happens. They give you a budget, and you work within that budget. So what you're telling me is that you were under the impression that these props were going to be donated by the plaintiff. That's what you're telling me.
Just like the Gobles were donated, just like everything else was donated to my company.
No, not your time.
It's not my time. It's also other products. So this was Gobles.
I don't care what she
And I never
did.
got a bill for that either. So I'm assuming that these weren't being billed.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, $696 is 58 times 12. Is that what you delivered to her? 12?
12, but they
12 props?
They were more than that,
12.
but yes.
But
well, I don't care.
So I have another thing.
If you have any proof, don't speak. If you have any proof to me of the exact amount, then that is more of a contract than what you can sue on here, which is really work performed, or what they call quantum merit, which means that she took the benefit of what you did. She made a little money. If she pays you, she makes a little less money. Yeah. Is really what it comes down to. So if she's dealing with a charity, she gets a lot of people to donate stuff, and she thinks a lot of people are going to donate stuff, and instead of making $3,000 on this, she's going to have to make $2,500 on this one, because you did, in fact, do work, which she used. She approved. She used the 10 that were ordered. She said, I really could use 2 more. And she communicated that to you. You made the 2 more. She used the 2 more. She made money. It is unreasonable for her to make money and for you to make nothing. So I'm not giving you anywhere near the higher figure you're looking for. But you are entitled to something for your effort. And you said the low end was 58, the high was 102. Yeah. That comes to $696. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much. We're finished.
This case is completed. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
She called the police 7 times on me, terrorizing me. I need therapy after dealing with this female. I didn't do anything wrong.
It's time to stop. It's time to stop.
Judge Judy.
Well, I think it's a good decision. When you do work, you should get paid.
I disagree because I never communicated. She never called me.
And also, her company was listed as one of the largest sponsors, so she got a lot of credit.
We never talked price, so she lied in court. She literally went out and lied.
For donating it. So I wasn't listed as a sponsor. She was listed as a sponsor. She donated it. She's got to pay up.
And the extra 2 ones, I didn't order them.
She ordered them, and I thought it was the start of a working together situation. But
so just because Terry goes, we have 2 more tables, I go, that means you need 2 more props. That's what they ordered.
I don't think we'll be working together anymore.
She just stood in court and lied, and that's it.
Pay your bills. You order it up, you got to pay for it.
No, just very disappointed. Very disappointed.
Somebody's usually responsible for an accident.
A disputed path to their crash.
I was trying to get into this lane here.
But she was already in that lane.
No, I wasn't even in that lane.
I'm actually liking this case.
Now their conflict is at a crossroads.
He's 100% at fault when he hit my car.
Well, they only sent her 50%. She wants the whole thing. What do you think?
This is Judge Judy. Meredith Less is suing fellow motorist William Frankie for an accident on the road.
Judge, this is case number 42 on the calendar in the matter of Less versus Frankie. Parties are sworn in.
Miss Less, you had a car accident with the defendant over a year ago.
Correct.
You claimed that the accident was his fault. Say that we have COVID, you had enough time to have your car fixed, so now you're pursuing a claim against him.
Correct.
That's where we're at. You were driving a 2009 Lincoln, and I assume you had liability insurance, but not collision.
Correct.
With whom were you insured?
Geico?
Do you still have the car?
Yes, I do.
And Mr. Frankie, what kind of a car were you driving on August 24th of 2019?
A Toyota Prius,
What year?
2012.
And did you have liability and or collision on the car?
Yes, I had full coverage.
Full.
Yeah.
With what company?
Kemper?
From my information, when you had this accident, did you exchange information with Miss Less? Did you give her your insurance card and your registration and your license?
Yeah. I don't remember about the license and the registration, but I definitely gave her my insurance.
You had never met Mr. Frankie before, is that right?
That's correct.
So if you had an accident that you allege was his fault and you decided not to call the police to the accident, I assume you were satisfied that you had sufficient contact information for him.
Correct. We exchanged all information.
So you had his insurance card.
Correct.
When did you notify his insurance company?
I contacted my insurance that day, and then I got in touch with Kemper within a few days, and they had me go through their process.
And what happened?
I submitted all the photos and information through the app they told me to download, and then that was it. And then I think within a month I got information regarding what the estimate for repairs would be.
Okay, did you get a check from his insurance company?
In July of this year, but I haven't done anything with it because
What was the check that you got from Kemper Insurance?
it was 50% of the estimated repair costs.
Would you please tell me what was the amount of the check?
The amount was $715.43.
And when you accepted the check, you signed a document that said that that was in full satisfaction of your claim.
No, I did not.
You had to, otherwise they're not going to send you a check.
Well, what happened was I took the car to a mechanic, and they called the insurance, and we're speaking with them, and they said they would send over a check. And then when I got the check, I called because it was for half the amount when they said they were going to pay 100% of the estimated repair cost.
Did you cash the check?
No, I have the check physically
still
with
have
me.
it?
Yes.
Great. Take it out. Okay, very good. I'm actually liking this case. So you have an estimate
I do.
to fix your car.
Through Kemper,
I'd like
yes.
to take a look at it because, Mr. Frankie, if your insurance company sent her a check, they found that you were at fault. Your insurance company found you were at fault. You understand that?
Correct, 50% from my understanding.
Well, they only sent her 50%. Your understanding from what she says is she got 50%. Your insurance company found you were sufficiently at fault to send her a check.
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to tell me about the accident in a second. Would you just put up on my evidence screen the estimate of having the car fixed?
Yes, I already did.
$1,430. Okay, great. Now would you show me the damage to the car?
I have two photos. Here's the first one. It's the right passenger side above the wheel fender area.
Mm-hmm. Now, you have a check. So the estimate is for $1,430
Correct.
to fix it. You got a check for them for $715. Can you tell me why you're suing him for $1,430?
Well, I'm
Should
suing him
actually
for
be
the
suing him
full
for-
amount because he's 100% at fault when he hit my car.
Yeah, but you already have a check for half.
Okay, so when I spoke up the check they sent, or you take Mr. Williams to court. So I haven't done anything with the check. I'm not going to because I'm here today.
Okay. So you have that check.
Correct.
You have that check. Take it back and put it on your desk. Now, who was making a left turn? Were you both preparing to make a left turn?
No.
I was preparing to make a left turn.
Okay. And was Miss Les in front or behind you?
She came from behind me.
All right. Miss Les, you're driving down. You're driving in the same direction. You're in the left lane. He's in the left lane. He was looking to make a left turn?
So I was in the middle lane on the street. He was in the lane to my right. And he was somewhat behind me. Like, we weren't head-to-head on that. So when I kept going and then he decided to turn, he hit the front passenger side of my car. I was going straight.
You were going straight, and he says you were making a left turn?
I was getting into the turn lane to make a left turn.
But she was in the middle.
Yeah,
You were on her right.
I was on her right, correct.
I'm trying to visualize
I have
this.
some pictures.
She's in the middle lane. You're on the right lane.
Correct.
Oh, I'd like to see them.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, great. Oh, that's better.
I'm the blue car.
I'm not following your direction that you're
So we're
going. I
going-
see where her car is.
We're going this way.
In that direction.
Correct.
And
I had just
she
come,
is the orange.
correct. So I'd just come from
Right.
this direction on a street, and I took a left turn onto La Brea here. So I took a left turn.
Okay.
And I intended to go
Right.
up here to take another left down here. And this,
Okay,
so
but
I wanted to get.
but she's in your space.
So yes, I think she was. I assumed she was also intending to take a left turn on to Romaine from La Brea here. That's what I assumed, because I was trying to get into this turn lane here. And there's,
Right, but she was already in that lane.
so I did not see her in this lane. I thought that you had to, I think she came from here into this turn lane, and I was going into this
You mean
turn
into the-
lane. I was going into this turn lane to get here.
I see that.
I hit her here because I'm assuming she was going to go straight through to take a left turn also.
She was going straight.
Correct.
No, she
But
said she
that's
was
what
going
she said,
straight. You
yeah.
were not making a left turn.
No, I wasn't even in
Is that right?
lane.
She was in this turn lane.
I
So
was in the
Well,
middle
you
lane.
want to show me where you were?
Sure, I would love
You
to.
want to show me where you were?
And I wouldn't be making a turn because I know I was heading to... So,
Okay.
there I am in the middle lane, going northbound.
And you're going straight.
Correct.
And he's all the way on your right.
Correct.
And he wanted to get over to make a left turn.
Correct.
I got it. Did you have any damage to your car, sir?
the damage was very minimal. I have a picture of
Okay.
my mirror, but it was very minimal. Do you want to see the picture?
Well, is a mirror what hit her car?
That's what I thought hit her car. I'm not sure. I think when I have pictures of her car and I see that her mirror, it looked like I hit her mirror and possibly her fender.
Okay.
But I was unsure if I hit the fender when I saw the damage.
Okay. Mr. Frankie, you know, it's an accident. It's not an on purpose. It's an accident. Somebody's usually responsible for an accident. Sometimes it's both people's fault, but usually it's one person's fault. That looks to me, what I saw, that this accident was your fault. You were in the right lane trying to get over to the left lane, and you hit her car. Didn't cause a lot of damage to yours. It's an accident, right? You had insurance. Your insurance company copped out. Her damage was $1,400. They paid her $7,000. She wants the whole thing. What do you think?
I know that I was intending to go into, I'd already went this Romaine to go to Willoughby, which is further down, if you want to look right here on the chart. So Romaine is up here. Willoughby is down here. Parking, there's a parking structure for Target off of Romaine over here that I intended to go to. And you can only get there from going to Romaine. You can't get there from the other direction. So I went down, made a U-turn on Willoughby, came back.
I understand. I understand exactly what you're saying to me, sir, but
Okay,
you were in
can I
the
show
right
you-
lane going to the left lane,
Can I show you another picture then?
and you hit her. She
Yes.
didn't hit you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I don't think
Are you-
anybody's
is
driving
what
in
you-
this in the parking area.
Sometimes you can in California because if there's no parking between certain times and certain times.
Oh, this is
there
true. You're right.
And later today,
What special thing about this pontoon boat motivated you to spend 3 times as much as you could have for cash?
Meredith Less says fellow motorist William Frankie merged into her lane and ran into her car.
Now, she didn't hit you. You hit her.
But there's a flaw in...
Okay, I'd like to see it.
So if you would bring up that picture that she showed, you can see, but I don't have her picture. But I do have this Google map right here, whichever you'd like to look at.
Those things.
This right here,
Well,
you
let
can
me see the Google map. They confuse me usually.
So right here, I can turn it so it's the same as the chart.
Okay, better.
Okay, so here's Romaine. We're going up here. This is the turn lane. You can see the arrow right there.
No, I understand that. Where was your car?
So do you see that?
Was your car in the right lane?
The parking spots right here, where you can park your car. So
yes,
I was
not. Is what you're telling me there were parked cars there?
Yeah,
were there cars parked there?
I parked there. I pulled off the road and parked there from.
For what?
From after I got hit here, I pulled right over here, and I have a picture showing where my car was parked right after that.
Well, you didn't get hit because your car hit her.
Yeah, so I parked right there. I was trying to get into this turn lane, and I don't think anybody's driving in this in the parking area, was what I'm saying. There's two other lanes here.
Well, sometimes you can in California, because if there's no parking between certain times and certain times, a whole...
Oh, this is true. You're right.
Streets. There are streets where you're not allowed to park at all during certain times, and there's free-flowing...
Yes, and it was at 7 o'clock, which is a rush hour.
So that would have been no parking in that area, as it is on Wilshire, for instance. You're not allowed to park after 4 o'clock on Wilshire in the park lane.
This is correct.
Mr. Frankie, I think that you owe the plaintiff $715, and then she's got the check from your insurance company. Now you're whole. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $715. We're done.
Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
She makes the final call.
She looked to the evidence and saw the truth in what transpired that day.
I came in here just trusting that justice would prevail, and I kind of trust the final call.
He stated he was fiddling with the GPS.
Accidents happen.
Trying to get the car fixed.
All parties in the matter of Vasugi versus Hill, step to the podium, please.
Hamid and Susan Vasugi are suing William Hill for the cost of a pontoon boat, a boat motor, and registration fees.
Mr. and Mrs. Vasugi, you purchased what you call a party boat.
Yes.
From the defendant, spent a lot of money not only for the boat, but for parts for it, for furniture for it, and now claim that you can't register it because of certain problems with the defendant's registration, and that you ordered a motor for the boat, which he has not put in to the boat.
Yes.
Correct. Suing for $5,000. I have a couple of questions. Do you have a photograph of this boat that you purchased from the defendant?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at it. Are those pontoons on either side?
Yes.
So it's a pontoon boat?
Yes.
And this pontoon boat is 30 years old, according to your complaint?
Yes, it's a 1989.
And how much do you claim that you paid the defendant for it?
$6,500 cash and $547 DMV fees.
You paid him, according to you, $6,500 in cash. Now, my question to you, Ms. Vasugi, before we go any further is, why would you pay him $6,500 in cash if you're a functional illiterate on the Internet, as I am, and you can go on the Internet and you can buy a 1989 pontoon boat for anywhere from $2,500 to $5,500? And I have owned a pontoon boat. So I would like you to tell me what special thing about this pontoon boat motivated you to spend 3 times as much as you could have for cash than you could have any place else where I'm looking on the Internet.
The body of the boat we were going to replace all the furniture, and we wanted to fix the current motor, but we changed our mind. We thought it was a good value. We have some boating experience.
Just a second. You know, Mrs. Vasugi, I'm not buying that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So far you've spent $16,000 on a boat with no proof that the money went to him when you could have bought a 31-year-old boat for $5,000.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Hamid and Susan Vasugi claim William Hill sold them a pontoon boat with no title or registration.
Okay. Now, after you paid him allegedly $6,500 for the boat, you invested a whole lot of other money in it. Tell me what other money you invested in the boat, because I need that for my record.
Sure. We bought some furniture for the boat. This is patio furniture.
I have that here. And how much did you pay? Just a second. And how much did you pay for the furniture?
About, it was $3,260.
So far, you're up to almost $10,000.
Yes.
For this 30-year-old boat.
A bimini top.
What kind of work do you and your husband do?
We're retired. We sold money to do this.
To whom?
To an individual who paid us cash. I have the bill of receipt.
Does it have his name on it and his phone number?
It has his name.
Well, get me his name and his phone number. I'd like to know exactly how much this person paid you for your boat.
For our vehicle. No, this was for our
car.
vehicle.
He says he paid you. Just a second. It says he paid Mr. Klein, who I could call. I'm sure you have his number because there's an address there.
Yes, we do. We do.
It says he paid $8,000 in May of 2020. Well, the date has changed on that bill of sale to, it was something else before.
Yes.
Somebody tried to write May 18th.
And I have his phone number if you'd like to call him. But we sold him a 2008 Mercedes-Benz E350. He gave us $8,000 in cash, and that's what we used to purchase the boat.
That's not what you say in your complaint, madam.
Well, we considered
you said you decided to sell. No. In your complaint, you say, we decided to sell our speedboat and buy a patio boat to cruise around. So far, you've spent $10,000
we didn't
on a
sell
boat
the
that you
speedboat.
could buy.
We still have it.
No, so far, just a second. So far, Ms. Vasugi, you've spent $10,000, and that's before the motor that you said you
Yes.
bought from him. You spent $10 for a boat that you could have bought for $3,500. So we're up to almost $10,000, and then you decided to invest in a motor. And how much money did you give him for the motor?
$6,100.
And do you have a check for that cleared?
Yes.
And I'd like to see.
It's not actually a check. We took cash from the bank for $6,000, and then we had $1,000 out of our pocket.
Miss
100 out of our pocket.
Miss Vasugi, so far you've spent $16,000 on a boat with no proof that the money went to him when you could have bought a 31-year-old boat for $5,000.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
All right, so I'm going to tell you this, Ms. Vasugi. I may be a skeptic, but I'm dismissing your case without prejudice. You go back to your local small claims court, and if they buy your evidence, good for you. I don't.
I mean,
do you understand?
I don't understand because I have proof of everything I spent. He gave me stickers that don't even belong to my boat.
What I'm telling you is neither you nor your husband believe in your cash transactions that amount to over $10,000.
But they do cost that much, Your Honor.
Just a second. They may, and someone may believe you. I don't. You're no worse for your arrival here. You go back to your local small claims court and convince a judge, just like me. So I'm dismissing your case without prejudice because I don't buy it. Got it?
Okay.
Hope you have it.
Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
The boat was worth that much money.
I was happy with the decision.
We never got a title or registration. We were given invalid stickers and an invalid license plate.
I have all the titles.
I guess we'll take it back to court.
I'd like it to be done.
He invited you to come over to his apartment for the purposes of recording some music.
An off-key moment set the tone.
You know, he's talking trash, saying this and that. He was at his door with knives telling me to get out of his house. I picked my stuff up, I turned my back, and he started swinging on me.
And it ended on a bad note.
So I put my stuff back in the car and went back to his door and said, bro, please, my laptop's gone. Just give it back, bro.
Where's his computer?
This is suing his former friend, Travis Grisham, for the value of a laptop computer and punitive damages for an assault.
Judge, this is case number 137 on the calendar in the matter of Jones versus Grisham. Parties have been sworn in.
Mr. Jones, The defendant was a friend of yours, and in November of this year, according to your complaint, he invited you to come over to his apartment for the purposes of recording some music.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you do that as a living or a hobby?
I do it as a living, miss. I love music.
I mean, recording it. Do you do it as a living?
Recording? I mean, I'm self-made in the game, so I have all my own stuff, but I love to record myself, and if anybody would love help, I mean, I don't mind helping. Does that make sense?
So you have your own recording? No, not really. So I'll make it simple for myself. You know, my grandchildren try to keep it as simple as possible for me when we're dealing with things that I have no clue about. You don't have a regular studio where you record.
My studio is mobile, so, like, I don't have a place to...
You don't have a fixed place?
Yes, ma'am.
That you pay rent on?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have some of your own recording equipment. Did you purchase that recording equipment new?
Yes, Your Honor.
Just curious, what does equipment like that cost?
$8,000 to $10,000.
And when did you purchase it?
Around...
Summer?
Yes.
Prior to that, what were you doing to record your music?
I was working very hard, saving my money, so I was able to afford the equipment that I was able to purchase.
What kind of work were you doing?
I was working in a warehouse, inventory control.
Do you live with family or do you have your own place?
Miss, I'm homeless.
Do you have a car?
Yes.
What kind of car?
I have a Mustang, 2003.
So all of your musical equipment fits in the Mustang?
And if it's not in my Mustang, it's at my wife's house. And my wife lives with her mom.
How long have you and your wife not lived together?
We've been on and off, but I have problems with my own family. And with her family doesn't really like me. So I'm kind of misunderstood.
And you don't live with your family?
No, ma'am.
Do you have children?
Yes, ma'am. I take very good care of my kids, too. And I have one on the way.
Well, then you must get together sometimes.
Oh, best believe we do. And everything's in the process. Nobody really knows what I'm doing, but it's a secret.
Not anymore. It is your claim that on this date in November, the defendant invited you over to his apartment for the purposes of doing some recording of music.
Yes,
Your
Your
You
Honor.
also record music, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
But you don't have your own equipment?
No, ma'am. I don't.
Do you sing or play an instrument? What do you do?
I do both. I sing and I engineer.
And the flute, it's
No, ma'am.
the engineering?
Engineering
it's
is
the
more
equipment
like...
that makes sound?
Basically, like, quality control, like sound. Like, basically, like, I fix the sound. Yeah.
So you sing and you operate the dials?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you sing?
I
play
rap.
an instrument? What do you do?
I rap and...
So you sing. Well, that's singing.
Yeah, I do, and I'm learning. So the only thing I don't have down is the engineering part. I engineer, but I don't know how to mix and master yet. But I'm in the process of learning.
Good. I guarantee you'll learn it before I will. The mixing and mastering.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anyway, tell me what happened when you got to his apartment.
I got to his place. I put my studio equipment in there, and I noticed my computer wasn't there. So I had to go meet up with my wife to pick up the computer. We picked up the computer, showed back up to the house, and right before we was going to set up the studio, he was telling me we should record in the living room, and I told him the living room has too much of an echo and that I would like to record in a room or a room that has, stable sound that's not going to echo and mess up the quality of the sound. He got an attitude. I don't know if he was hating on my equipment or if he was thinking I was trying to tell him what to do up in his place, which I wasn't. I just wanted the best for my studio. He started arguing with me, started getting loud with me, started saying he's a great engineer, this and that, started calling people on his phones. And I'm like, it's not about that, bro. I just want to record in the room. And then he started getting loud with me, and I told him, you know what, bro, I said, you're getting loud, and in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, like, get your stuff out in the head, and I got my equipment, I told him, I'm going to come back another time and record with you, pick my stuff up, I turned my back, and he started swinging on me. I fell to the floor with my equipment, it was a box full of stuff, and as he was swinging on me, I was trying to fight to get back up, I got back up, he ran to the kitchen and go grab knives, and in my mind, I'm just like, when he ran to the kitchen, I'm like, get your stuff out of his house. So I was pushing my box out of his house, and then I went back to get my two T5 speakers. And when I went back to go get my two T5 speakers, and as I was coming out, he had knives in his hands telling me to leave. I got my stuff out of
Slowly. Slowly, look at me, slowly. I want you to start up again from, I went to go back inside to get my speakers. Very slowly. Right here.
I pushed my stuff out of his house, my big box.
I got you. Push the stuff out.
I went back to get my T5 speakers.
Push the stuff out of it.
To get him out, he was at his door with knives telling me to get out of his house. So, I got my stuff's out of his house now. I go ahead and I'm putting my stuff.
Did you get the speakers?
My speakers. I got my speakers. Yes, ma'am. And I got my box.
So you got your speakers. Shh. So you went back and got the speakers.
Yes,
right?
as he was in the kitchen.
Okay, so you went back and got the speakers, and
I went ahead and I get my equipment. I take it to my car, and I'm upset. I know everything's moving fast. So I noticed when I look at my laptop's missing. So I go to his house and I knock on the door and said, "Bro, please." I didn't come at him with no aggression. I said, "Please, just give me back my stuff, bro, so I could leave you alone." He's talking trash, saying this and that, and so he tells me, "You want your stuff? Okay, fine." And he threw my backpack out of his back window or his back door or whatever, and he threw my camera. So he told me it was around the corner, so I went to go retrieve my items, and my backpack was there, my camera was there, but my laptop was missing. So I put my stuff back in the car and went back to his door and said, "Bro, please, my laptop's gone. Just give it back, bro. I'll give you whatever you want." And, he started talking more trash to me, and then he went ahead and said, "I'm going to call the cops, bro, because you're trespassing." So when he told me he's going to call the cops on me, I'm like, "You going to call the cops on me, bro, and you got my stuff?" So I went ahead and I went back to my car and I called the police on him. And the police had came, and they didn't really do much, but they wrote down the report, and I told the police I'm going to go ahead and sue him because he got my equipment. He's not giving it back. And then he told the police that his name was Kevin Mitchell.
Just a second. Do you have a police report, or did they just give you a card?
I have a copy of the police report.
Can I see a copy of the police report, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Where's his computer?
I don't have it. He has his own computer, ma'am. He has all his equipment.
How much did you pay for the computer? Have the receipt?
Yes.
I don't want to see an about. I want the receipt for the computer. Did you seek medical treatment that night for anything?
No, ma'am.
Did you seek medical treatment at any other time?
No, ma'am.
Did you advise the police that the defendant had assaulted you, or just that he had your computer? Think about what I'm saying. You have the police report. Did you tell the police that you had been assaulted, or did you just tell them that he had your computer and refuses to return it?
Miss...
Just give me an answer. Look at the police report.
He's my childhood friend. I didn't put on the police report that he put his hands on me.
So I just asked you a question. You called the police. They arrived. You told the police about the computer, right?
Yes, ma'am.
There is nothing in the police report about an allegation of assault.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Because if he assaulted you, if you were afraid of him, coming back twice and knocking at his door would have been a little bit crazy if he was acting like a Looney Tune that night. Now, did you throw out his backpack?
Allegedly, they said...
Not allegedly. I don't want to hear allegedly. I want to know.
No, I didn't throw it. I didn't throw his backpack out. I sat it outside the equipment.
How did you explain to me how you sat it outside?
I went through my back door, and I sat his backpack and his camera right there. The only two bags that was in my house left, and then I closed my sliding door, and he kept banging on my door. And I told him, "Your stuff is on the side." He went and grabbed it. He went back to his car. And then he just started raging, talking about...
And he called just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
He went back to his car.
Yes.
He called the police.
Yeah, he sat in his car and he called the police.
Yes, that's exactly what he did. And he said his problem wasn't that you had a physical altercation or that you had his speakers.
Or anything else.
Or that you had... Except his computer.
That's what they say.
Searching for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,089.97. We're finished here. Thank you very much.
This case is completed. Parties are excused.
On your way to success, people will hate,
It's a whole lot, but, it is what it is,
He had a knife, and it's cool because, God knows the truth.
Oh, I never pulled no knife.
He only lying to himself.
No punches that I know of.
Yeah, he was jealous of me, and it's fine because, honestly, I'm going to keep getting money and I'm going to keep getting more.
I'm just going up. That's it.
I'm going to keep going.
And now, the next case.
Step forward.
Devin Harris is suing his ex-girlfriend, 25-year-old Jasmine Penn, for the cost to rent a car and a loan for gas money and food.
Mr. Harris, Miss Penn was your girlfriend?
Yes.
And you lived together for a period of time?
Yes.
And you moved into her apartment?
Yes.
When did you move into her apartment?
I can't remember the exact date that I actually moved in.
Month. Let's start with easier. Let's start with year.
Oh, 2013.
Was it hot or cold?
It was San Bernardino, so it was very hot. So trying to remember the date we actually moved in.
March.
See, I knew she would know.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Why didn't you pay for rent?
I didn't pay any rent.
Why?
We didn't discuss payment for rent. I was supposed to help pay with the bills. Yeah.
Did you pay those?
No.
Devin Harris says ex-girlfriend Jasmine Penn owes for a rental car and a loan. Jasmine is countersuing for unpaid rent.
And when had you moved into the apartment?
I moved in February the 28th, 2013.
And you took the lease in your own name?
I did.
And then you met him and things moved. And it is your claim that you loaned her some money and also rented a car on your credit that she was supposed to pay for.
Yes.
She didn't.
Yes.
And in addition, she had a little fender bender in the car, all of which you became responsible for. And something about $1,600 that came out of your checking account. What was that for?
It was actually $1,500. That was for the car rental itself.
Okay. And she has cross-complaint for unpaid rent and the fees that she had to incur for breaking her lease. Now, you broke the lease?
Yes,
because
Your
she
Honor.
couldn't afford to pay the rent?
Yes, Your Honor.
You should have thought of that before you signed the lease.
Well, he agreed to pay.
No, he didn't agree to pay for anything when you signed the lease. You signed the lease by yourself.
Yes, Your Honor.
He didn't move in for at least another month after that.
2.5 weeks to a month.
A month. So I assume that when you took that apartment, you had intended to get a roommate.
I tried to get a roommate towards
I
the
assume
end.
that that was your intention, to get a roommate, because you didn't have him when you rented the apartment. So it's not his fault that you broke the lease. It's your own fault you broke the lease. How many months did you live together?
2.5, 3 months. To the rent, I pretty much paid household things. At the time, I had just recently bought a car, and we only had one car. We worked about an hour from our job, so my car and gas was paying for us to get back and forth to work. And I was paying for, food and things like that.
What other things like that?
Just everyday things you need to pay for stuff, just, groceries.
Why didn't you pay for rent?
I didn't pay any rent.
Why?
We didn't discuss payment for rent. I was supposed to help pay with the bills for, light bills, electric bills, and stuff like that. And that's the only thing I was supposed to pay for.
Well, light and electric bills.
Yeah.
Did you pay those?
No.
So she was going to pay the rent and you were going to pay the utilities.
Exactly.
And the gas to and from the car. That, that may work out. How much was the rent in total?
$800.
$800. Well, if he paid for the gas...
We were going to the same job.
It doesn't matter. You would have to get there. So, listen, even if I were to use your logic that he had to use his car to get to work anyway, and I was just tagging along, he can say to me, I was living in her apartment. She was going to pay the rent anyway. Why do I have to pay her?
He agreed to.
Just a second. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You broke the lease, and then you went and lived at his parents' house. You didn't say that. How come somebody left that out of the equation?
He asked me to.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Devin Harris says ex-girlfriend Jasmine Penn owes for a rental car and a loan. Jasmine is countersuing for unpaid rent.
Now, if you were supposed to pay the transportation and the utilities, and you tell me that you didn't pay the utilities because you have no proof that you paid the utilities, you at least owe her for the utilities.
Yeah.
For the 2.5 months you were living there, how much do you think that was?
I would say about $200, but the thing is, it's not about me paying the utilities, it's that I've given her money that covers the utilities that, sit
That's all he did throughout the whole relationship.
So you owe her for the utilities. Let's say it's $200.
Okay.
For the time that you lived there, and you did use your car back and forth for a part of that time.
Yeah.
But then she rented a car because you had different shifts, then your shifts changed. How many months did she use the rental car?
Between August to October.
Well, August to October, were you living together then?
She was actually living with me at my folks' house for that time.
Oh, you mean when the lease was broken?
She moved in with me into my folks' house, yeah.
Well, you didn't say that. How come somebody left that out of the equation? You broke the lease, and then you went and lived at his parents'.
After we broke the lease, I was struggling. Me and my daughter, we had no place to go, and he's like, come, stay over here, and then
I just would have liked the information. It's not the way you made it appear here. How much did you pay his mother for rent for you and your daughter?
She wasn't charging us anything.
That's not my question. How did you contribute for your support when you were living at his mother's house?
She just asked us to pay the utilities, and that was
Did you pay them?
Yes, for 1 month.
Strike out the $200. For what months do you claim she owes you for personal expenses that you loaned her money for?
It was a time, actually, after our breakup. She actually drove the car for a couple weeks after we broke up, and then for about 2 months, she was kind of having issues, so I was pretty much helping her out with just gas and...
Who cares? You were helping her out. That's a nice thing for you to do.
Well, it was due to, she would say, like, I'll pay you the money back on Friday, I get paid, you know, things like that.
Then you should have stopped lending her money, if that's what you thought it was. Did you ever get together during that time?
No.
Okay. Now, let's talk about your car. Who should pay for your car?
He should.
Why?
Because he rented it. I was just an additional driver.
What? Speak up.
He rented it. I was just an additional driver.
Well, I understand that because you didn't have the credit card.
At the time, his car was in the shop.
Really? Was your car in the shop?
Yeah, my car was in the shop. I was driving another car that my family...
What other car?
I was using my grandmother's Lexus for that, at that time.
How long was your car in the shop?
A little bit over a month.
And how many months did you have the car?
About a month and a half.
How long did she have the car? You have the information.
Approximately from August 19th to October 25th.
That's more than a little over a month.
Well, I don't remember exactly.
You don't remember. I don't remember. And you know what else? I'm not going to remember either one of you when I finish this case.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, you owe him for the rental car. You needed a car. You didn't have credit to get a car. He got you the car. Why didn't you pay for the car?
Well, I feel like still in turn he owed me for breaking the lease, rent, utilities, so I feel like it went both ways.
And what about you and your kid? Lived at his mother's house. You didn't pay for anything.
That was his grandma's choice. I mean,
well, it was your choice, too. It was your choice to rent an apartment that you couldn't pay for you and your daughter.
I could pay for it at the time, but when he moved in...
No. If you could pay for it,
I'm having to pay the utilities, all the food.
Yeah, the utilities are the same, just like when he drives his car to work with you hanging on the door.
I was giving him gas. I was giving him gas for when we were going. We're going to the same
How much was the car
every day?
How much is the car?
How much was the rental car?
$15.10.70.
$15.10.70. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
You decided to put new flooring throughout the house.
But she was floored when they didn't return.
Who asked for the balance of the money?
Who?
What are you asking me for?
Judge Judy.
It's just my fault. I should have had something more in writing, and I should have just prepared myself a little bit more.
The money that I spent that's out of my account will be put back in my account, so I can't complain.
Especially when you're moving in too fast in a relationship.
We did. I mean, sometimes that happens. You know, we moved it too fast, and then...
I should have never entered into a relationship where I pretty much didn't even know the guy.
Other things occurred, you know, working and just drifting apart, and that caused arguments, and here we are today.
He did a lot of this, just like the judge said. He does a lot of this and not enough action.
What they say about the woman scorn or something